This is the iPhone 16e, Apple's most affordable iPhone, but don't mistake it for a cheap phone. It does all the iPhone things you'd expect, but chances are it's missing at least one key feature that you might want, whether it's the convenience of MagSafe or an extra camera. And this is the iPhone 13. It's an older model, sure, but it's nearly 15,000 rupees cheaper and still packs in a lot of the same features. It was one of Apple's greats, with a loyal fan base even today, and rightfully so. It did a lot of things really well. But if you were thinking about upgrading from this to this, then there are a couple of things that you need to know. Oh, and before I dive in any further, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. The iPhone 16e and iPhone 13 are nearly identical in design, both featuring a notch, a flat aluminum frame, and a completely flat display. The 6.1-inch screens make them similar in size, but the iPhone 16e weighs a bit less. I much prefer the frosty matte black of the 16e over the glossy finish of the 13. It feels more premium and is far more resistant to fingerprints. But when it comes to colors, the iPhone 13 wins with bolder, more vibrant options, while the 16e sticks to just white and black. The biggest design difference between the two is the fact that the iPhone 16e has a single 48-megapixel rear camera, while the iPhone 13 features a dual camera setup. Then there's the action button on the iPhone 16e, borrowed from the iPhone 16 series, allowing you to map different functions for quick access. Though, let's be honest, most people will leave it on ring or silent mode. Meanwhile, the iPhone 13 sticks to Apple's classic physical ring switch, a small but beloved detail for many. Another noticeable difference is the iPhone 13 retains the now retired Lightning port, while the iPhone 16e upgrades to USB-C. When it comes to displays, these two are basically twins. Both pack a 6.1-inch OLED Super Retina XDR screen with a sadly outdated 60Hz refresh rate, first-gen ceramic shield glass, and 1200 nits peak HDR brightness. And yeah, the bezels are a bit on the chunkier side compared to premium Android phones, but the content still looks fantastic. Now, chipset performance is where these two iPhones start to diverge. The iPhone 16e runs on the A18 chipset, while the iPhone 13 has the older A15. Not surprisingly, benchmark scores are higher on the newer iPhone. The A18 in the 16e is nearly identical to the one in the iPhone 16 with just one less graphics score, but honestly, most people won't notice the difference. I tested Genshin Impact, and while there was a slight increase in stutters, the experience wasn't wildly different from the iPhone 16. This phone can handle almost anything you throw at it, but so can the iPhone 13. Even with the A15, it runs most high-end games with high FPS with 100% stability, proving that it's still a very capable gaming device. You're not missing out because you don't have the latest chipset, but the iPhone 16e does introduce something entirely new. This is the first iPhone with Apple's C1 Modem, a big deal considering Apple has been relying on Qualcomm for years. While real-world testing showed minor improvements in call quality and network reliability, this shift is more about Apple controlling its own silicon ecosystem. Apple also claims that switching to its own modem has helped the iPhone 16e deliver the best battery life ever on a 6.1-inch iPhone. And in real-world use, it holds up well. On busy days, I averaged 7 hours of screen time and still had 20% battery left by the end of the day. For comparison, the iPhone 13 managed around 5 hours of screen time, but keep in mind it has a 20% smaller battery and lacks the efficiency benefits of the C1 modem. Both phones feature 20-watt wired charging, but the iPhone 13 has 15-watt MagSafe wireless charging, something the newer 16e oddly lacks. And for the price, that feels like a frustrating omission. Anyway, let's come over to software, and yes, both models support iOS 18, but the iPhone 16e will get software support for much longer simply because it's newer. The iPhone 13 is already halfway through its lifespan and will lose out on updates much sooner. Apple usually keeps devices going for 7 to 8 years, so expect the iPhone 13 to tap out around 2028 or 2029. Now, you can't talk about software on smartphones without talking about AI, and it just so happens that the new iPhone 16e, much like its other iPhone 16 siblings, does indeed come with Apple Intelligence. Maybe you've heard of it, seen it on billboards, seen it on commercial, maybe even someone's whispered it in your ears, because that is how much Apple wants you to know that the iPhone 16e comes with Apple Intelligence. And surprisingly, all features are included. Even visual intelligence is supported, despite typically requiring the camera control button to activate it. Since the iPhone 16e lacks that hardware, users can instead map visual intelligence to the action button, a workaround that's also coming to the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max. The iPhone 13, on the other hand, misses out entirely. No Apple Intelligence support here. That said, I wouldn't pick the iPhone 16e over the iPhone 13 just for Apple Intelligence. Features like AI writing tools and image playground, while hyped up, aren't exactly game changers. Finally, let's check out those cameras. The iPhone 16e packs a 48 megapixel fusion camera, just one, so no ultra-wide. Meanwhile, the iPhone 13 sticks with two 12 megapixel cameras, including an ultra-wide. So it's basically a choice between more megapixels or more cameras. And honestly, the results speak for themselves. Shots on the iPhone 16e are visibly sharper with natural colors and better exposure levels. The higher res sensor also means you get decent 2x zoom shots with lossless optical quality. Night photos are also superior on the 16e, and it's the same story for portraits. Now, it's not great that the iPhone 16e skips out on that ultra-wide camera. I mean, it's not just always possible to take a step back and fit more into the frame. But that said, I had to think twice about switching to the ultra-wide on the iPhone 13 because, well, it's noticeably duller and noisier than the main sensor. Selfie quality is pretty much the same on both thanks to the 12 megapixel FaceTime cameras. No major upgrades here, just solid, reliable selfies. Overall, if you want higher res photos and don't care about the number of cameras, the 16e is the way to go. But that brings us back to the big question. Should you upgrade from the iPhone 13 to the 16e? Well, there's no one-size-fits-all answer. If your iPhone 13 still runs well and does everything you need, there's no urgent reason to switch. You also get the ultra-wide camera here and MagSafe charging. However, if you need a faster processor, a better main camera, a bigger battery, and Apple Intelligence, the iPhone 16e kind of makes sense. At the end of the day, it's all about what you prioritize. And I don't mean to confuse you further, but for just 1600 rupees more, last year's iPhone 15 gives you better hardware than the iPhone 13 and a couple of features missing on the 16e. Something to think about before making your choice.